Welcome guys to another episode of Boom Arena. Today we're gonna be pushing 4400 medals with this steel bait deck. This is the type of double bait deck where you have Faun Keg and Skeleton Keg as your win conditions, and the rest are support. So we have Stone Fawns for air defense, Faun Hat for general defense, Steel Hammer as an pretty much unbreakable tank, obviously Bomb Girl and Faun Horde at base. And we're gonna be playing without a big spell, so pretty much bigger defenses will be harder, but with perfect play, this deck can defend almost anything. So without further ado, let's jump to some gameplay and show dominance on ladder. And we are in the first game against Nutty Butty, so he's gonna be starting with a Super Ape cycle, so this is gonna be very good deck for a warm-up, since in the meantime I'm gonna be able to explain all rules that this deck works. And the first rule is just if no danger, cycle win condition, and your opponent should waste like key cards. For instance, he cycled Cannon, which is a good response to my Skeleton Keg, but since he cycled Cannon, it's pretty hard for me to right now apply some pressure, so I have to wait for it to die, allow this Super Ape to get 2 hits, unfortunately. And right now he uses Rolling Steel, so I pretty much will go all in, because he doesn't have a good response to anything from that, and my force will just get very huge amount of value, and we will take the tower because he wasted Rolling Steel pretty much. I don't know, he probably forgot that we are playing steel bait, and it's gonna be very fast tower down. We're gonna defend one more Super Ape because our opponent decides that it's a good idea to still stay in the game. We cannot blame him for that, but at the same time I would love to move to the game number 2 since the game is over. Obviously, as a Super Ape 2.6, there is certainly a chance for you to come back to the game, but I don't think it's that convincing, since we have a 1 tower advantage, and he pretty much has no advantages of the position. We have a Faun Hat always in cycle for his Super Ape. We'll play Bomb. Oh, right now he has used a Flying Bomb, so that's gonna mean that I pretty much can play whatever I want, because he has just no mana. And even though Super Ape 2.6 cycles very fast, it still requires mana to play cards. So that's a general idea how to play against this deck. Just defend 1 Super Ape with your primary defense, second Super Ape with alternative defense, and usually with this alternative defense you will be able to counter push as well. Let's jump to the game number 2. Alright, so we are in the second game against Jim. Right now our cards are loading. Whatever, we're gonna wait for a second. He or she, or whatever the gender, this account has 94 medals, and we're gonna be grabbing 4 of those at the back. So we're gonna cycle Skeleton Keg right here. From 2 first cards, I would like to guess it's another 2.6, so we're gonna have a repeat matchup. No, there's nothing to worry since I pretty much can play it. Also, this Faun Barrel will get some value, which is kinda unexpected. You never expect to get any value from like your first win condition. That's why I perfectly defended his Super Ape, and he perfectly defended my my Faun Barrel. But right now I'm gonna play Skeleton Keg. It will turn, obviously, but I'll have to just make sure that he cycles the cards I want him to cycle, and not like the cheapest cards possible, because if he were to cycle the cheapest cards possible, that would have been a very hard task for me to stay up the cycle for the rest of the game. And right now he has to cycle Gunner, which is, well, It is the card that gives value in mana, but is not the best option if you want to cycle many Super Apes in one game. So if you have mana, you can pretty much make those sacrifices, and I don't mind them, but if you don't have mana and you want to fight for the mana advantage, I recommend you to just sit back, relax, and take the positive mana trade. So like, usually it involves no attacking and playing the cards that will be the best for the trades and not for the mana. So for instance, you want to take a hit here and there, you want to force out some uncomfortable cards that, for instance, you may be having a very good win condition, but your opponent has like a perfect counter that makes him get a positive trade. So in this situation, you usually want to just outcycle him and force this worse response to pop, because, well, it will take for him more elixir to react, and if you force your opponent to play more mana on your cards, you basically will have more control over the game. Back to the gameplay though, we're absolutely outplaying this guy. Like, it is one of the skills that I expect pretty much any player to achieve by some point, and this is like playing absolutely perfectly if nothing happens. And unfortunately for my opponent, he doesn't make a lot of correct moves, so I'm gonna just try to perfect him, like with the exception of spells. Like, I cannot stop them, obviously. But apart of that, it's gonna be very nice for me to like try to stay perfect with my gameplay. Also, you have seen that I had a Faun hat in rotation, but I didn't use it. It's because sometimes you can just be greedy, do not play the best response but alternative one, and if your opponent doesn't have a good response to that, you pretty much will get away with it, and I did, because he wasn't ready with Rolling Steel. And that's pretty much how you defeat 2.6 Super Ape Cycle. He should realize earlier that he has to cycle more Flying Bombs, but at this point it was too late. Also, he was pretty bad at defending, so I would recommend for him to train the macro interactions in the first place. Let's jump to the game number 3 of the video. And in the game number 3, we're gonna face Lucas X Gamer with 1277 medals, and I've played him today. He was playing a general drunkard deck. Right now it looks like he may have switched to something else. Always happy to see that switches from players. Obviously, it may be for better or maybe for worse. Right now I'm gonna just perfectly defend his spam. It would have been easier with Steel Hammer, but I didn't have one in hand during a defense. Right now I'm gonna just catch the Thief, which is very nice play to make, and I'm gonna try to get my opponent's pump, and I'm gonna absolutely get it. It looks like he's gonna give up. Even though I have activated the Viking Tower, he absolutely should still try to win that, but he threw the tower. Alright, so that's how you beat a better players with a bit of luck. Let's jump to the game number 4. And we are in the game number 4 right now. It's gonna be against Ramenuts, which is, I believe, the hybrid of ramen and nuts. Must taste very, very nice. I haven't tried it yet, but right now I've got a recommendation in Boom Arena, so it would be a crime not to try at some point. Also, he's gonna be having 10 medals, and we are gonna try to take 4 of these from him right now, as he plays some cards that suggests heavily that he's gonna be playing a default deck. And with default deck, the thing is, this deck is kinda good against it, but also kinda bad in a way, like you cannot win fast against it, but you can absolutely outplay it because it's just, the default deck is just not equipped to deal with a lot of bait. And with that being said, we're gonna be playing some aggressive Boom Arena since he isn't equipped with good defenses. Our job as a good attacker would be to prove that he truly cannot defend us, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna be playing second Bomb Girl just to piss him off a bit. Not really, I would love to know that he isn't pissed over the game. And yeah, he will be able to deal only with one Bomb Girl. Now second, but he played a cannon, which is incorrect response in this manner, because in this matchup you have to save cannon for skeleton kegs. And I'm gonna be playing one in just a moment. I'm gonna try to also delete those archers, because they are kinda annoying and will probably defend the tower. Yeah, if this archer would fall, this tower would have been gone. And actually, I like the tower on 7 HP because it means that if I play Steel Hammer and Faun Barrel right now, I'm not gonna be, I mean, he won't be having a activated Viking tower for defense. So, well, if you think about that, that's kinda actually better for us, because like there are win conditions that don't depend on Viking tower activation, which is for instance general, but there are win conditions like Faun Barrel which depend very heavily on this factor. And right now we're gonna just look and spectate the battle of Steel Hammers. He's gonna also have a very good round of bullets, and right now 10 seconds left to the end of the game. I believe we cannot disrespect him longer, so we're gonna just throw a Rolling Steel for good measures. After he pretty much lost the right side tower, he was playing pretty well, so I'll give him good game for that. GG, well played. We're gonna take 4. Let's jump to the game number 5. And our hopefully last opponent of the video will be 20 medal player, naming himself as a sexy goblin. Let's see if he is that mighty as he advertises himself, or will we be able to absolutely wreck him, as right now he actually gets the better of us with these apes. Also Stone Faun splitting attacks, it's not perfect. I would love to play Steel Hammer for that, but by the time I've set up defense it was just too late. So very well first play out of him, and also he kinda sucked our skeleton keg, so that's gonna be it for us. We won't be sucking his skeleton keg though, I mean his Faun Keg. So he's goblin, and in Boom Arena we have fawns. That's a very huge difference, which I will remind you again and again, because it's just important right now. It's not a Goblin King, it's a Faun King, and I believe the mighty Faun King would have been very ashamed if you were to name him otherwise. And right now we're gonna just play more Fawns. Basically I'm right now playing a full Fawns deck, so it's pretty much my duty of protecting the good name of the Fawns. I'm gonna play a Bomb Girl and decimate those who try to approach my tower, and that was a very good Bomb Girl, if I say. Obviously it was possible to defend 100%, and I kinda could have gone for that, but it was good enough. Also, this was perfect defense, and it was even more impressive because if he were to play Faun Keg at any other point on my tower, I would have taken damage, but it was a flawless defense for some reason. So very interesting, and right now we are gonna just try to end this game as soon as possible, as yeah, our opponent is just not equipped with dealing with our pressure. There's just too much bait of ours, and I think he just officially quit. Yeah, that's the sign of GG's, and with that we're gonna wrap the last game of the video. And there we have it, 4400 medals achieved with a double steel bait. Like I've said in the intro, it's gonna put us in the first place on leaderboards, and we're gonna pretty much keep it for a while. The thing I'm gonna take away from this deck, obviously it's possible to play Bone Blasters instead of Skeleton Keg, but Skeleton Keg is pretty useful in this deck for one particular reason. Like, Bone Blasters are getting kited from so long, and Skeleton Keg can be placed in a so-called balloon skip spot, and with this balloon skip spot you can like avoid many buildings, and it's not possible with Bone Blasters. That's why I prefer this version, although Bone Blasters in theory should be better. Alright, so that should be it for this video. If you like this content, make sure to comment down below so I get to know which content is good for you guys, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. See you guys in the next episode of Boom Arena. Bye bye.